Alright, today I'm gonna talk about the Dark Tower review. I went in with this seeing mixed reviews about it, average reviews, and I was kind of worried. I was worried because I knew that this movie has been in development hell for like about 20 years now. The last time I remember before this might have been like 6 years ago when they were trying to do movie sequels, but in between each sequel they were going to do TV series that would lead up to the next movie, which sounds like a wonderful idea, especially for the Dark Tower series. Would have been great. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read any of the books. I knew of them. I had very few friends that had read them, and the storyline was appealing to me, except when I was younger I was never really into reading. I was more just watching action movies or video games. But the appeal was there, the fantasy western, Dungeons and Dragon like vibe. It seemed pretty cool, and that's what I was kind of expecting from this movie. Now, right off the bat, I didn't love the movie. I also didn't hate the movie. Some reviewers, like Film Theory, for example, I'd have to agree with them that this feels like one of those 80s, early 90s movies. It has that, what they said, like Highlander kind of vibe. And I definitely got a Last Action Hero type of vibe when Roland came into our world. And it's interesting because you get a lot of these debates nowadays with the change of race or the change of gender or the change of sexuality with characters, fictional stories from what they used to be. But I didn't hear anyone complain about Roland, and I'm not complaining at all. I love Idris Elba, man. He, when I first see him from, it wasn't Prometheus, Luther. It was Luther. Prometheus, I liked him more. Pacific Rim. He did the voice for Shere Khan in the live-action Jungle Book. And I was going in like this, and this guy's a badass, man. He looks like a badass. He looks like Sergeant Johnson from the Halo series to me. But I like the guy. And yeah, I probably because he pulls off that badass vibe. It's probably why there wasn't any complaints. The Roland that I was used to, was that Clint Eastwood looking motherfucker, the man with no name. But yeah, Idris Elba, I would say his character was the most interesting to me. He didn't have as much as Jake did. And I've been hearing people saying that the actor that played Jake, I don't know his name, I'm sorry for it. He did real good, which I'll agree he did, but there were times where I was kind of like, seems like it was slightly forced. And that's one thing about this movie. Because it was in development hell for so long, I feel like they rushed this. I feel like a lot of the supporting characters were just like, hey, we need you to say this line, come in here and do it. And when they filmed it, it sounded like shit, but they wanted to get this movie out, like, I guess it'll do. Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey will help us sell this movie. I hope this doesn't drag Idris Elba or Matthew McConaughey down. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but it's not what The Dark Tower was supposed to be. Speaking of Matthew McConaughey, it's funny that he was Walter in here, the Man in Black. I used to read this book series called Left Behind from Tim LaHaye, and it's like basically a Tom Clancy take on the Revelations, the religious apocalypse, and every time the Antichrist like would speak in the in the series, I always pictured Matthew McConaughey. I don't know why, I don't know how. He just has that charisma to him. Like you'll fall for his manipulation just because he's so charming. And so when it came to that, like I was like, oh man, it's kind of interesting that they picked him. And so I was excited for that. And he's not bad. He's not bad. I was hoping better from him. But then again, the whole movie just felt like it was rushed because they needed to get it out. And I really wish this movie took more time. The chemistry between Roland and Walter, it was there. It was believable on why he was on this journey to find Walter and why Walter kept fucking with Roland the whole time. But a lot, and I mean probably most of the supporting actor and actresses in here flopped. Like they just seemed like they were reading their lines. I just wish they took more time to make this movie. That's how I feel about it. And at the very end, when it came to the final act of the movie, the climactic battle, I wasn't annoyed with the movie. I wasn't bored with it. My friend I go watch movies with all the time, he enjoyed it. He never read the books either, but he's a simple man. He just loves the entertainment. There was an autistic man to my left, and I'm not making fun of any autistic. And what I'm about to say may sound like I'm putting him down, but I'm not. He enjoyed the hell out of the movie. And when it came to that final act, like he was in his seat, like he wanted Roland to win. He wanted Roland to get up and save this disaster that was going on. And when that happened, something inside me just kind of like woke up. Like I started enjoying that more, like that scene. Like I wanted this man to have his fantasy fulfilled, to see good overcome evil. Something as simple as that. Like it's weird how it happened, and I'm very glad I experienced that. It was interesting, and it made me think that there are and it's probably y'all's fault too, and I don't mean all of y'all, but I probably mean most of y'all, that I believe y'all are way, and I mean way too overly critical with movies. Like Batman vs. Superman, I enjoyed it. I thought it was an awesome movie, but there was a handful of people that thought it was shit, and you know, everyone has their opinion. I'm not saying mine's right, but I guarantee you, if that movie came out in the fucking 90s, it'd be a masterpiece. It really would. And it's kind of scary to think if Tim Burton's Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, just like it is, came out today, it would probably be a flop. Because everyone's like trying to be so critical, overanalyze, SJW bullshit. It's ridiculous. A movie's meant to entertain. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't have an in-depth story. And I'm not passing The Dark World the way it is. I think it should have been in the oven a little bit longer to be able to become what it should have been. But I really think people need to calm down. There's way too many voices on the internet that scare the shit out of people to make it a certain way. And that's probably a disaster. That probably makes people afraid to take that leap. And by me saying this, and whoever watches, I know it ain't going to change anything. But I'm going on to another rant. But I just say let's calm down. Let's calm down on this over-criticizing. Let people make their story. You know, not your story, their story, okay? Let's just calm down and let that happen. Now with The Dark Tower, is it worth watching in the movie? If you don't mind that type of vibe, like I mentioned it before, the 80s, early 90s, Highlander type of stuff, then yeah, I would say go check it out. It's a fun movie. If you haven't seen the books, or I mean, I'm sorry, read the books, I think you would check it out. If you have read the books, you probably will be disappointed. I'm almost 100% sure you will be disappointed. Because me not knowing or not have reading the books, it felt rushed. Badly rushed. But there was still enjoyment there, like I said, with the autistic man and then my friend. I was probably blessed to be in that spot. But that's my take. And hopefully this rumor is true where they're supposed to make TV series. I think it starts next year. And it's supposed to be about a younger version of Roland and Walter. And hopefully this helps. I hope they do it. And I hope it's a good series, and I hope it will make a better sequel, because they do kind of leave off for a sequel. And please don't rush it. Please don't rush it. It needs time to be well made. That's my thought. Check it out if you want. Check it out, or don't check it out if you want. But there you go, Dark Tower.